Let's continue with the new video. So we have already created a custom colors for our bootstrap. Now let's take a look at what we can do with fonts. So I believe that previously I have already introduced to you how to use a Google font. Okay, so the Google font is great. You have like hundreds of fonts that you can use here, but apparently there are sometimes when you design a lot and you wanted to have like a specific design for you to work with when it comes to font that is not really available there. So what happens is you have to create the font of your own, or probably you have to look for the font it is. I'm going to give you an example. Last week I mentioned something about the Bernhard Modern font. Okay, so in the Bernhard Modern font it looks something like this, which it creates a little bit of the modern classic kind of looks that is very like a popular if you are creating something that got to do with the culture or the modern culture or something that got to do with the social science materials and content. So I actually kind of like love this font, and I feels like I wanted to use this for my web design. If you check it out, the web design, if you design it properly, it's going to look actually pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check first now in my Google font whether the Bernhard Modern is available. So let's just search. I can't find any Bernhard. It's probably because my spelling is correct. So I'm just going to look for Bernhard. Alright, so apparently there's none. Let me see whether the spelling is correct. It's Bernhard. Alright, and then modern. Okay, so obviously it is not available, and I might have to change into another alternative font if I want to, but I could also do this. Let's say if this is actually a font that is available to be used as a web font. Okay, two things what you have to do now. Number one is you have to make sure whether the font is available. I don't really have the font on my computer yet, so what I'll do is I'm going to install it. Let's just go and have a look. Where can I find this font? So I'm just going to look for the Bernhard Modern. All right, font. All right, now by doing this I'm going to go to the first one where I can see that there is a download free font Bernhard Modern Standard. Okay, so it seems to me that this is quite easy to download. Alright, I can download this file. So just go to the download. Alright, you might see like some advertisement, but don't get distracted by that. Open it up. You will see that I got my font over here. So I'm going to extract the zip file. You will see that there are four files here. Alright, so let's just remove the others. I just want to have these four files. In order for me to design it on my computer, I'm going to install them. Okay, so go to the second one and install it as well. Third one, italic. It looks pretty cool for a serif font. Okay, awesome. So if I got it right, in here I should have a Bernhard Modern that come with all this. That means that I can use it either in Illustrator, or I can use it in Photoshop, or in any design that I want. I can even use it in Microsoft Words or in any word processing document application. Okay, all right. Now, after you are done that, what I'm going to do is I'll go to the web font generator. Okay, so you can go into any web font generator that is, but one of my favorite one is actually the transfonter.org, because this is actually very straightforward. You click on this. Now it works actually like an offline Google font. Alright, Google font is online, but anything that looks or sits offline, meaning that it's only available on your computers, but you wanted to use it as a web font, you can actually generate and convert it in here, and I'm going to show you this time how we can actually do that. Now I'm going to ask you to add the fonts when you have done. Okay, look for the fonts that you have already downloaded. Okay, so apparently I have it here. You can install all four together. Click open. Alright, now by the time you see that the bar comes green, meaning that this website will check the originality and also the copyrights of the fonts, yeah, because some of the fonts, they are not free. You have to pay for it, and it is illegal for you to use them, you know, like without permission or without buying it. So apparently this Bernhard Modern Standard is free and is available. The reason is because they have already checked, and when it comes in green, meaning that this is good lah. Alright, okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to click convert. Alright, once when you click convert, what you can do is you can download, but what I can also do is I can preview first. So this is actually how it will look like by the time I use this on my computer or on my web design later. Alright, so at the end of the day, you will see that it gives me this code that say that the dot your style, meaning that this is your selector, and then the rule will be font family Bernhard Modern Standard. The font weight is normal, the font style is normal. This is if you wanted to use a normal one. But if you wanted to use, for example, like the standard bold, so it's the same thing, but you have to put the font weight here as bold. Alright. Next one is if let's say you want to use it as italic, so that means that the font weight is normal but the font style is italic. So you have to figure out how do you want to set up this. Okay, now what we do is, there is actually a lot more, but I'm going to now show you that how you can actually use it into your web content. So I'm going to come back, download the font face kit. That is actually what we call the app. So the font face kits, I'm going to extract it. Okay, extract it. So what happens is it will give me one folder where you have all this in here. Okay, alright, so this looks pretty much like a font file. WOFF meaning that this is the fonts that is a web friendly font. Alright, you might have like a different types on your computer, either it's a true types or OTF, open true types, and so on. But if you have the W at the back there, meaning that this is a web font, okay, web friendly font. So I'm going to copy this. Where's my copy? Okay, here you go. Then I'm going to come back to my folder. I'm going to create here a new font, a new folder, guys. So the folder is going to be called as fonts. So make sure that it's plural with S at the back there, because we're going to have like several fonts in here. Open it up. I want you to paste all the item in. Okay. You don't need, yeah. Okay, so all of this. Now, if you notice inside of the font, there will be two files here. One is a demo.html that will demonstrate to you how to use it. And there's another one is the stylesheet.css. Okay, now you need to attach or to link this style sheet to your HTML. That's the first thing what you have to do. Okay, right, so what I'll do now is let's go and jump back into our bracket. So I will go now, there is a link here for the Bootstrap theme. I'm going to make next line, and then after that let's link it. Alright, so the link will not go to the CSS, however it will go to the folder called as fonts. Inside of that font, you will look now for the, there you go, the stylesheet.css. Okay, alright, so by having this line, you are already importing and already what do you call this, install it in. Okay, now I wanted to use it, for example, for the H1, H2, H3, and so on. But what I'll do now is I'm going to remove everything what we did. I'm going to do here, for example, a H1. Alright, this is a new heading. Okay, and maybe I also wanted to do a little bit of a paragraph, and I'm going to put here like Lorem 30, for example, and then perhaps maybe I will put in a H3 to show that there is a smaller one, okay, or the smaller heading. This is heading 3. Okay, alright, so oops, what am I doing? Okay, save this up. Let's take a look what happened by the time I browse on this, or I create this, not that one, but I think it's here. Okay, so this is actually what happened lah. Now I'm going to change this now into the fonts that I downloaded earlier. Okay, so to make it actually easier and faster for me to work, what I'll do is I'm going to now go back again to the folder. Okay, so the folder of fonts have this demo.html. So I'm going to open this up. Alright, you will see that there is a .your style, open curl bracket, close curl bracket with the font family and the font weight normals and all this. Okay, now copy it up, copy this. Then after that, I'm going to go back again to my bracket. Okay, so I'll go to the CSS file. Alright, so apparently you have now the CSS file of the bootstrap.theme, but what you do not have is you do not have the customized CSS of your own. So maybe I need to create my own CSS for, you know, like my own design and for my own colors and stuff like that, or my own component. Let's go back again to file, go to new, okay, and save this in the CSS folder. Alright, what I'm going to name this is, I'm going to name this as a main.css. So this is my own CSS, okay? Alright, so click it, and then after that what I'll do is I'm going to say this, guys. I'm going to place this thing here, alright? But this time I'm going to use this for heading 1. Okay, so use this for heading 1. So it reads as heading 1 have a font family of the Penhat Modern Standard, have the font weight of normal, have the font style of normal too. Okay, alright, so the last thing what I will do is I'm going to come back to the HTML. I need to link this CSS together with the rest of the two CSS you have. Now things are going to get complicated, but I hope you guys are still with me. Type link rel style sheet href and then put it here as CSS and look for the main.css, because by the time you put this thing here, let's jump back again into the browser to see what you have already done. Now if you take a look here on my heading, it seems to me like the font is already been installed. Quite fun. Now I'm going to say is that this is going to go bigger, so I'm going to say is that I have a class here to be display as -1. Alright, display -1 will be a CSS that come from Bootstraps. Alright, but the H1 here will have the CSS that come from myself, which is this is the one that I write it in. We combine it up together and you will see that this is how it looks like. Alright, it will actually make it looks a little bit bigger. Okay, now let's control the others as well. What I can do is I can make another one which is H2. Alright, and it comes to also together with, sorry, spelling mistake, that also come together with the same one that looks something like this. Apparently it's not H2, it's H3. Yeah? Okay, I can also do the same thing here with a P. I open up the curl bracket and paste this thing in. You will see that having H1, H3 and P, so whenever you see any of these three pre-selectors appears, it would actually change from there. Okay, apparently the font for font seems to be a little bit smaller, so maybe I can actually put the font size here to be a bit bigger. So I'm going to check on the font size. Says that it's going to be like 1.5 EM, which is 1.5 times bigger than how it was before. So you will see that it looks actually more readable from here. Okay, so probably I'm going to make it slightly smaller, 1.3. I think it looks pretty much interesting, okay, and that I can use. Okay, okay, last but not least, what I'll do is I can also do this, guys, since all the P1, P2 and P3 share the same thing. Okay, so what I'll do is I can do this, guys. I say that H1 comma H3, in fact I can do this, sorry, comma H3. Okay, in fact I can do this, H1 comma H2 comma H3 comma H4 comma H5 comma H6. Not just that, I can actually use it also for paragraph, I can use it also for A, for anchor, and so on with the same font. So that means that I save myself from writing a lot more here. I also save myself for writing for the P. However, P will be a little bit specific. The rest will all follow from here, but when it comes to the font size is equal to 1.3 EM, this will only belong to this P, meaning that I can actually write it twice, but I have already simplified my CSS so that it will look something like this. Now let's check it out. Save it up, come back to the index.html. Let's go to the browser and have a look. So this is actually what happened. Okay, I think it looks pretty cool. If you still remember the colors that we had, you can also do here the colors. Perhaps maybe I'm going to set the text color here to be primary. Okay, so that you will see that now this come with the different colors. Okay, so there you go. I have already used right now the bootstrap generator, and I also use now the what do you call it, the font generator. Okay, the next video I'm going to show is how to use a gradient generator for those who love to use a gradient colors for, you know, like your work and so on. Now I'm going to show you how that works. It's going to be super easy. I'm going to see you in the next video.